why I would beat up my child. Okay, there are instances where maybe children do not listen. There is that age where they will react to a beating, like they hear what you say. Yes, so that is when I'll bring up maybe a stick or a little slap and tell them something. And I've realized it works for me. A little, yes. It is fine. We grew up being beaten a little, and it would kind of discipline us in very many instances. If it is little, it is okay. If it's appropriate, it is very okay. My problem would be torturing a child, like overbeating them.
There are children who respond to beating, there are those who don't. So there are children who respond to speaking to them. So I have two children, they're different. One, definitely the beating does it. The other, beats until you're tired, I'm going to do it again the next minute. So we sit down and talk about what you've done and how you feel about it and what you think you should have done. Now that one, he will totally get it. My daughter, I have to beat her. That's the only way she gets things because she's so afraid of beating. So when I do, she's like, now that was the wrong thing to do. I will not attempt again. My son, on the other hand, we have to talk through things. Beating him does not make any sense to him. It doesn't mean anything. Here's how I handle my children. I'll give you about 2 or 3 warnings and let you know of the repercussion, all right? But even the beating has to come with a reason. You can't beat a child without a reason. If I'm going to beat you, if you do that again, here's what's going to happen to you. Then you do it again. Then it's probably you did not understand the communication. What did mama say? When you do this, then the next time I'm going to beat you. On their bam bam, that's what they call it. They know what's going to happen. However, I will not let anybody else beat my child because then you don't understand the system. If I have a particular way of disciplining my children, I expect everybody to go that way. So house help, people at school, no, you do not beat my children.
For me, I'm a Christian, and the Bible says, spare the rod and spoil the child. Yeah. So I believe that if we don't do it, that the kids will get out of control. They'll go out of hand. It needs to be regulated. Yeah. A child should not be beaten out of anger, because if it's out of anger, it can affect the child badly, and that's why we've seen some deaths, some children being beaten at school. Yeah, but a child should be beaten correctively, and when the person punishing is in their right mind, not with anger. If they're still angry, please do not punish the child.
Growing up, the only way our parents got us to do anything is by beating us, and that is when the point actually sank into our minds that what we've done is actually wrong. But in the generation that we are in right now, the generation of the millennials, I feel that punishments have moved away from actual beating, and there are better and smarter ways of disciplining a child. You could probably deny them something they love so much, maybe reduce their TV time, their time on the internet, and that alone can affect them and also get them to see that what they've done is actually wrong. My dad began to cane me when I was in high school, in Form 2, in Senior 2, and then it began to sink in that we had gotten to that stage where we were being because we were adolescents, and the world was exciting us, and we didn't want to do housework anymore. We didn't want to do any chores around the house anymore. And for him to take a step and say, I'm going to cane you, and to actually do it, we then stopped. We then began to stay home. We then began to help out around the house. So I believe that because the generation has changed, or because times have changed, there are better and smarter ways of disciplining kids. But if it gets to the extreme, it was done to us, so it can also be done to them.